Week 13, Week 12 in the books. Let's move on to Week 13. Another week, another filled up listener league, and another donation by at least this week, Mark and Alex. I don't think Pete got in, but another donation.
Mine are becoming actual donations though. Like I'm not even close to doing good lately.
Hey, at least this time it was you weren't in 98th place, right, or 99th?
Yeah, it's okay. I was like 87th or something.
Ah, so you're moving up
Someone
the
thinks.
ranks. You're moving
Someone.
up the ranks. That's all right. I went all the way to like 33rd this week. So what sucks is I actually had a lineup that would have put me in second, and of course that's not the lineup I put into the listener league. It
Well,
happens
what
every
what
week.
was what was the second place score?
Second place score was 183.3.
Yeah,
And
I would have came in third if I used my good lineup.
that was Kyle B. So I think I had one that got me 186, but unfortunately, again, that was not the one that I put in. That was a Roethlisberger, Beckham, Landry
Of
lineup.
course, it was Landry.
That was lovely. Yeah.
You and your
Yeah.
Landry boner this week.
How about that? How about that?
You didn't tell
So
anybody about your Landry boner until Sunday morning. Thanks.
I told you exactly what I was gonna do. I told you exactly why I was gonna play him. He wasn't a value pick, but Revis being out, he was a nice play for me. I had him in a couple lineups, but not enough. But either way, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony, Mr. Achilles 823, he came in, whooped everybody's butt, took the league by 14 points this week with a score of 197. So congrats to you, Anthony. You are a few dollars richer this week, so congratulations. Always nice to have a little bit of bank, especially coming in from $2 to whatever the first place is here, 50 or something like that. So nice little score there. Hopefully, answer me this. Did you enter this in many other tournaments?
I entered in the million maker, but it was actually a little bit better. It was a 200, not a 197.
Nice, very nice. Look at you. That's awesome. How long have you been playing DFS? You mentioned to us earlier you've been watching the show for like 4 weeks or so. So how long have you been playing?
6 weeks.
Only 6 weeks. Man, you guys are kicking butt. I think Ben from last week had the same type of thing. He'd only been playing for a few weeks, and he had a huge week. Last week or the week was it last week that we had him on? And then I
Yeah.
think a couple weeks before that we had Otis. Same thing. I mean, you guys are getting some good luck. So good picks too. You guys, you earned it here taking on Russ. We'll start with your quarterback. Russell Wilson was 3% owned, threw for 345 and 5 touchdowns. Now he scored you 38 DraftKings points. So tell me what's going through your head to roster Russell Wilson against Pittsburgh, who was coming off a bye.
Okay, so I basically put Wilson in there because, first of all, Pittsburgh is not good against the pass. So I put him there. The week before, he had his best, I think his best fantasy score of the whole season. And on top of that, Jimmy Graham, I felt was due for a good game sooner or later. Pittsburgh, if I recall right, they're really bad versus tight ends. And I know Jimmy hasn't been great, but I was going with Wilson. Also saw that he was 1% owned, I think, in the Thursday lineups.
Well, look at that.
And so, yeah, I went with Wilson for the tournament.
That's solid. That's a good little bit of research to do, and we definitely recommend that. Looking at the Thursday lineups on FanDuel, I know DFS Report, Pat Mayo, some others take a lot of the Thursday lineups and from FanDuel report them out and actually estimate out what some ownership is going to be in the Sunday lineups for DraftKings. So good bit of research there that definitely, I mean, obviously paid off for you. 3% owned in this league, so only 3 people out of 100 played him here. 38 points, again, incredible score. The Jets hat, did that have anything to do with you playing Chris Ivory, who netted you 18 points this week?
I played him because Miami can't, against run, they just can't stop the run.
Very nice, yeah. He got into the end zone, which clearly helped you out. He had 2 catches for 15 yards, which was nice too. So overall, let me look up real quick what his price was. 5,800.
Scared because Powell was biting into his time a little bit, but he broke off that run, and that was that.
That got you in. So nice, very nice. 18 points out of Chris
Handoff?
Ivory.
Handoff on Ivory. Can I have an Ivory comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fitzpatrick was under center again. Ivory will be able to run the ball the rest of the season because he's not getting the ball out of the shotgun, and he actually can accelerate to the ball. Finally, we can run the football. Like you saw it from the first run. He was under center, handoff. I think 16 yards, first run of the game. Everybody, Ivory's back, and he's ready to roll.
And he should have against the Giants too, because they can't stop the run either.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, your next running back was T.J. Yeldon, who 38% owned. Everybody loved him, especially at that price with the matchup, 4,800. Only got you 12 points, 12.2, so he didn't quite hit value, but still not bad. We expected a little more. I didn't watch any of that game, so I don't know if either of you guys did, but he seemed to accumulate his points in like the first 2 quarters, and then after that kind of went silent. So
he didn't get a touch in the third quarter.
Was that just because they were throwing? Because they were down so much at that point?
There was no reason for them not to give him the ball. They had Denard Robinson on the field.
I didn't watch it.
It made no sense. Right? No, it made no sense. It was
I can't even.
Awful. He was set up.
I haven't been using him that good this year, like not in the red zone or anything. I just play him because again, they can't stop the run. I think they're last.
Yeah, they're bottom 3, if not the worst, against the run this year, and again, especially against fantasy running backs. But what kills me is things like that, where it frustrates me as like a fantasy owner. But if I'm a Jags fan, oh my God, it's blowing my mind, right? Is it just me, or is like I feel bad for Jags fans who have to sit there and see a talent like that just kind of sit on the bench for no reason, right? Same thing like if I'm a Cleveland fan. I hate the fact that we draft Johnny Manziel in the first round, move up to draft him in the first round after we passed on him earlier, and then just sit him for practically 2 years. I get that he's not pro ready and everything right now, but I am like I'm under the impression that Johnny Football, if he got a chance, could become a pro quarterback. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I'm thinking. But if I'm a Browns fan, we spent a first round pick on him. I want to see him play. I can't stand front offices like this that just kind of like fuck with everybody, especially their fans. Like if I'm their fan, I'm so pissed. But I'll get off my soapbox.
Austin Davis is the truth.
No one ever.
Manziel, and I'm not comparing them, and Gronkowski parties too. No one says nothing.
Yeah, but Gronkowski wins Super Bowls. Manziel doesn't.
I know that's true.
That's the canned response, right? Is Gronk wins?
Yeah,
all right.
That's it.
Let's move on to your wide receiver. This is an interesting one. I'm very intrigued to hear your thought process behind this, and that's AJ Green, who was only 2% owned in this league. He ended up catching 6 for 61 and 2 touchdowns for 24 points total. So I was a fade on him because I figured he was going to get who's there?
Nice.
Janoris Jenkins. I figured he was going to just shadow AJ Green, so that kept me off of him completely. Why? Tell me why.
So basically, there's going to be no real good reason. I felt like he was really overdue for something, a big game. AJ Green, if you watch him play, it's a huge game, then it's 2 duds this year at least. And then it's a huge game, and it's another couple of duds. From what I remember, he hasn't had a good game in a long time. So I felt like he may have a shot at a good game this week. Against the Rams defense who hasn't, they've been off and on too. They've been good, but they've gave up a lot of points on certain occasions. And I felt like Cincinnati has a lot of weapons. So if AJ Green got involved that game, I felt like he could get hot and score a touchdown. So that's what happened.
And it works. So I just went back and looked, and you're right. It was week 8 was the last time he went over 12 points. Week 8 he had 31. Week 9 he had 9. Week 10 was 10. Week 11 was 11.9. So yeah, it was 3 full weeks since he had a good game. So he was, the he's due mentality. But hey, it worked for you. Caught 2 touchdowns. Very nice. Again, 2% owned. So there's your stud that that low-owned guy that just blew up for you. So nice job there. Vincent Jackson, 12% owned, 4 catches for 76. We liked him. I think we spoke about him on the Thursday show last week. Brandon Marshall, 10% owned, so a little bit less than Vincent Jackson. 9 for 131 and 2 TDs. Same thinking as Chris Ivory. The Dolphins defense just sucks so bad. You wanted you wanted the playmakers on the Jets offense.
Same thinking. I didn't think the Dolphins were going to stop them and running. I mean, either which way, they were going to just give it up.
Okay. Jimmy Graham, you already touched on. 4 for 75, 11.5 points.
And a torn patellar tendon.
Killer injury that I had this same stack in a different lineup and just devastating.
He had a decent game until then.
He did. He was having a great game, and I think Russell threw 2 touchdowns after Graham went down. So there's obviously no saying, but I'd like to think in my head if he was in, he would have caught 1, which killer. But either way, gone for the season. Jimmy Graham done. Good investment of a third, 4th round pick for me in my redraft league. So happy I picked him in the 4th round. Oh my God, what a disaster he's been this year. But
You could have told you not to do that.
yeah, sure.
I wrote an article about it before the season started.
An article?
Well, kind of.
But for
For
what?
the mock draft we did,
I remember.
Donnie's mock draft.
Yeah, I remember.
I wrote a little review of who my either overrated or bust player was, and it was Jimmy.
Yeah, I had the same mentality up until the draft came to me, and I was on the snake, and I forgot who I picked in the 3rd round, but I was like, you know what? There's going to be a run on tight ends. I'm going to get hosed when it comes back. Let me just grab Jimmy right now while I can.
Could have just gotten Eifert late.
So I grabbed him, and it sucked. And it absolutely has sucked all year. But anyway, again,
You're so bad at redraft. It's so funny.
I this year I was bad at redraft. Yes, this year I was pretty bad. But some moves during the season have helped me out significantly. Sharkandrick jumping up and getting him. I got him, D'Angelo. It was nice to suck so bad. I was able to get both of them off the waiver wire. That helped a lot. Let's go to your flex position there, Anthony. Adrian Peterson, 16% owned in the league. Went off. 2 rushing touchdowns, 158 rush yards. Also threw in 2 catches for 29 yards, 35 total points. Any other reason other than Atlanta sucks against the run?
Actually, I think Atlanta's number 1 against the run.
No,
they're the worst.
They're the number 1 run defense.
They're the number 1 giving up points.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I played Adrian Peterson because the week before he had a horrible game. And I felt like he's going to come back and just rip it apart the next week. Because that's how he
plays defense.
And he's the leading rusher, too, so.
Yep, I had the same type of thinking. It was, let me pull up his week before when Green Bay came in to Minnesota. He only ran the ball 13 times, so I kind of thought, okay, 13 times, they're going to correct that the next week. He's going to run for 20 or more, get 20 or more rushes. Didn't count on the 2 touchdowns. That was nice, though. But at 7,300, he easily hit value for you in a cash game. Actually hit tournament value as well, so very nice game from him. Last but not least, the Browns. Was that just to get some value in there? You did get your pick 6?
Your pick 6. He throws a pick 6. We knew it was coming.
There you go. We even Alex even called it officer pick 6, reported for duty in the first half. It was nice to get that out of the way. Couldn't believe it. But yeah, 197.6 is the total score. Very nicely done, Anthony. Very, very nicely done. Big congrats to you on that. And let's see. Any other questions for us before you hop off and we dive into our value picks? Anything you want to say?
No, man. Thank you for having me on and for making the league for everybody. And everything that you guys are doing is, I'm sure, helping a lot of people. It's helping me. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Anthony. Go Jets.
Anthony, man. Appreciate you viewing. Appreciate you joining the league. Don't forget to join this week. To everybody watching, link is already in the description, so go ahead, join right now.
You didn't send it. I gotta do that now.
And thank you again, Anthony, for joining. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time you win, man.
Thanks, guys.
Take care and good luck, man. All right. Let's see. We've got dude, we've got some funny people.
Yeah, the comment about me being able to write, that was a good one.
Well, that one made me laugh, so kudos to Justin, but also like all the comments on Pete and his socks.
All right, so Pete is do you tell them what Pete's doing, because it's funny.
So it's not funny, but
It's
Pete
funny.
wrote a play, and tonight is a rehearsal for the play. So Pete is like this genius,
Savant.
artsy fellow. Savant, yes. Very, very good word for it. He is almost a chess master, right? He's like a couple of points away from being a chess master.
He's a chess master.
Well, he is, right? I mean, I don't know if he would correct me, right? So I would call him that, but I don't know if he would call himself that. But yeah, he's ridiculous. He's not actually doing that tonight. He does not have a match for that tonight, but he's off, not acting in the play, maybe directing. Maybe he's acting, singing, who knows? Either way, good luck to Pete. Hope he's having fun. And you guys are stuck with me and Alex tonight. So with that, thank you again to Anthony for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for joining the league. If you haven't already, click the thumbs up, share us, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Everywhere else you find us, follow us, reach out. Let's chat. Love chatting. And let's dive into value picks, huh? Let's see who our first QB of the week.
Wow, I gotta make my lap. Give me a second.
No. Mr. Marcus Mariota. Again, mentioning him in the same breath as value pick. I feel like you die a little inside when we mention him on these picks. But last week threw for 218, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, scored you 21 points on DraftKings. His salary stays the same on DraftKings, $5,500. He sits at $7,100 on FanDuel. Going up, Jacksonville coming in, so another juicy matchup here. I mean, are you thinking he can? I'm thinking he can replicate the points, but maybe in a different combination, right? Maybe he throws for more yards, not necessarily seeing a third touchdown this week, but also potentially seeing more rushing attempts, right? He ran for 5 each week, five times he ran the ball each week 10 and 11. Went back to only running it once in week 12. What are you expecting from him this week, Alex?
Well, I mean, you guys know how I feel about him. He's not a good quarterback, but as far as fantasy goes, he's good. Like, he's still going to, especially for DraftKings, because he only gets the minus 1 point for any turnover. So he's a guy that can get you 2 to 3 touchdowns through the air, maybe 1 on the ground, plus a turnover or 2. Those turnovers don't hurt you. And as we saw, this was the Thursday night game obviously Thanksgiving, the week before. Both of these quarterbacks can succeed playing each other, and their defenses can still have great games as well. So this is just one of those ugly AFC South type games that just fantasy points are randomly found. If that makes any sense. I don't love it. I don't feel safe with it. I don't think it has the most upside of anything this week, but it's safe enough for a cash play, I guess, just because the salary is so low and just the matchup it's easy for him.
Yeah, so at Jacksonville last time, now that you mention it, I look more specifically at that game. He had a rushing touchdown, but no passing touchdown. Still hit cash value for you, so still hit 18 points. Are you just said you don't love it, but
no, I don't love it at all. But
in a pinch, cash viable or no?
Yeah, I mean, he's only not hit value 3 times this year, and those were against some pretty tough defenses. One was Buffalo. One of them was I don't have it up right now, but I just recall looking 3 times he didn't do well. One of them was Carolina recently.
I just closed it, so give me 1 sec. We've got
Buffalo, Carolina, and I think it was Miami the week they came
Miami.
by.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Buffalo, Miami, and Carolina. Yep.
So, like, Miami off the bye. Tennessee wasn't very good at that point. And then Buffalo was good back then, not so much anymore. And then Carolina's phenomenal. Other than that, he's got a floor of like 18 points.
All right. So cash viable for you. I like it. Let's move on to your
Cash
boy.
acceptable, not viable. Like, I wouldn't want to use him, but like if I had to, I would. All right, I'd rather use another person on this lower on this list than him, but
I understand that, but cash viable, cash acceptable.
Yeah, you can do it.
Same thing. I'm not saying cash favorite.
No, of course not. But you can do it if you really want to.
Next quarterback, your boy, Mr. Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
Went for 277 and 4 TDs this past week. Now gets a price increase of $200 on DraftKings. He's at $5,200 on DraftKings, $7,500 on FanDuel. Gets the Giants defense in a road game. So what are you thinking here in terms of a floor for him?
250, 2 scores minimum, plus rushing yards. He's under center again. This offense works under center. The play action works under center because there's an actual threat of Chris Ivory running the ball, not right into the line. He can see things. He has the ability to get into those holes. The run game opens up the pass game for us. My only worry is that Ivory runs for 150 yards in the first half and they're up 21-0. That's genuinely my only worry, is that he doesn't need to throw the ball at all.
So,
but we saw at this price early when Ivory was running wild that he was still cash viable.
That was going to be my next question. Not only cash viable, is he your favorite cash quarterback then?
Probably. Yeah.
I like it. I'd have to agree with you. Going up, Giants defense.
I just don't see how they're not going to stop us. Like,
they're looking like, I'll say this. I think they're looking better than the beginning of the year, but I'm not saying they look great.
Right.
So improved, but still not good.
The spots that they're good, which is they're actually pretty good at corner. We still have Decker and Marshall. Like, you're not going to stop Decker and Marshall. Let's be real. Nobody's stopping Decker and Marshall, or at least not stopping both of them.
Yeah, and another thing to keep an eye on is the health of the Giants secondary, because didn't they lose
DRC was limping a whole bunch last game.
Yeah, he got really banged up.
Luka Morrow just came back.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on their health. They lost one of their big D tackles, I think, a couple weeks ago for the season. So Ivory should just eat this game anyway.
Hopefully.
Probably a big fan of him on Thursday. But
it's fine.
Let's then hop off Fitz then, both very high on him. Let's move to Brock Osweiler. Now, before I go through anything, are we sure? We're for sure that he's playing this week, right?
Yeah, I think they said last week that Manning was out for at least 2 weeks. So
okay,
let's talk about this as if he's starting, which I think he is.
So let's assume he starts. Led them to a win against the Patriots. Well, the running game, I would say, led them to the win. But
he was
Osweiler 270, pretty good, 270 and a touchdown, almost hit cash value, not quite at 5,300. His salary thus drops to 5,200 on DraftKings, sits at 6,900 on FanDuel, goes to San Diego now. So
tie ball game.
Significant downgrade in defense, which is a good thing for Brock. I don't think I worded that properly, but a good thing for Brock. So cash viable for you this week going up against San Diego?
Absolutely. I think that the biggest thing that hurt his value last week was I think it was 12 targets to Demaryius, 1 catch. It was just from watching the game, because obviously I get to watch the games more closely that are on the primetime games and like the Jet games I watch with Red Zone on in the corner. But like those are the games that I really get to watch and like see what's going on. The only problem with Osweiler, his timing was just like this much off. Like he had all those open people and he would just like, I saw Owen Daniels cutting across the middle this way. The ball was here. So we'd have to try to do this a little bit off with Demaryius and the timing, and just, it was snowy. Demaryius wasn't even wearing gloves. Like I'm sure that accounted for 1 or 2 of them. it would have been a much bigger day if you give him this 1 week that he's getting now. The 1 week that he has extra to work with these receivers against a defense that can't stop a nosebleed. He's in for a good week this week. I think he could explode this week with DT.
I'll agree with you there for sure. If he can get on the same page, then they're going to be a very nice duo. I mean, we saw that in the first drive, his first drive against Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful pass, nice catch, touchdown, 49-yard touchdown, if I remember
correctly.
Arm. What's that?
He's got a great arm.
Oh, yeah.
Great arm.
He's also 6'7", which is
and he's mobile, and he can run the ball, and he gets those extra points rushing the ball. Because it's Kubiak. Everything is bootlegs.
One thing concerning me with playing him in a tournament, though, is the running game limiting his upside. You agree with that?
Yeah, but everyone's upside is limited by the run game and every offense.
But this one,
I get
to a
what you're
little bit
saying.
more of an extent, right?
Like the run game is working now, and like they may lean out a little while.
Run defense for San Diego, so it kind of just keeps me. It keeps me. I'll still have some exposure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do like 60% ownership of Brock in tournaments, but I'm gonna have shares.
No, exactly. It tempers me from going overweight on him.
But I also would like the other two. Like I would play him in cash. I'm comfortable with this range of quarterbacks all the time. Like we might as well just the value pick show should just be every quarterback under a certain amount. Like they're all cash viable because of the landscape of football right now.
Yeah. All right. So this
is
my
favorite one. We have my favorite Are you serious play is coming up soon. This is my favorite of the week. I think I don't know next, but it's coming.
Let's go into this next guy then, and that's someone who I like for tournaments more than Brock Osweiler. That's Jay Cutler. Again, we talk about him almost every week. His salary refuses to go up. He didn't have a great week against Green Bay. 200 yards and a touchdown. Scrambled a couple times, but that's about it. Didn't hit you cash value. But he was in Green Bay, very bad weather, short week. The week before, home against Denver, very good defense. So the past 2 weeks, he hasn't hit value. Those were the first times, again, we've said this almost every week, the first times he hasn't hit value since he came back from missing his game in week 3. So taking on a San Francisco defense, which is completely different on the road than it is at home, I'm loving me some Jay Cutler in tournaments this week. What about you?
Yup. Roll him. I don't really have anything else to say. We've been talking about him every week.
Yeah, I think I spoke for too long.
How we feel. All his weapons are on the field and healthy. The ones that are important, at least. Forte's back. Alshon's there. Bennett should be back this week. The weapons are back, and he's got Langford just to spell Forte, just cause at this point.
I think I spoke on him for too long, so we'll move right to your guy who I had to scroll down probably.
I did too.
75-80% of the way just to find him, and that is, I'm appointing him this title just because I feel like it.
Sunshine. Is that what you're going with?
I was going to say he's your boy, but yes, your boy, Sunshine Blaine Gabbert.
I missed him.
Oh, my God. That's hysterical. Yes. Blaine Gabbert, Sunshine, going into Chicago at 5K, a guy who threw the ball 30 times against Arizona, 30 times at Seattle, and completed over 60% of his passes each time. Went for over 300 yards and a touchdown with Arizona at home, 264 and a touchdown at Seattle on the road. Still min price, 5K on DraftKings, 6,300 on FanDuel. Talk to me. Cash viable going into Chicago, whose past defense has been better, or just straight tournament for you?
He was cash viable against the Cardinals and in Seattle. Yeah, he's cash viable at Chicago. No question about it. When you go in against those two defenses and you can become cash viable, I know it's at min price, but it's still at min price, and you can be cash viable against those two defenses, yeah, I'm down. Absolutely. This is my thing with Gabbert, and I don't know if I'm going to be right on this, but I'm taking a big risk in saying this. I think he's the starter in San Francisco, and I think the fact that he was basically not out of football, but out of playing football for so long helped him more than anything ever could have. Because when he came in, he was playing behind a bad offensive line. He looked lost. He looked scared. He's had this time to just sit back, learn the game. This is why I hate when most quarterbacks, I'm not talking about like your Andrew Lucks and I guess Jameis and Mariota, fine. Like they didn't really need to sit behind anybody. But there are certain guys that their careers are ruined by being thrust in the fire immediately. And Gabbert seemed to be one of those guys. But I'm seeing a completely different quarterback. I'm seeing a mature quarterback, a guy that's mobile, a guy that knows where his safety valves are. He's using the tight end so much better than Kaepernick ever could have. And now he's starting to get Torrey involved. Bolden had a pretty big day against Arizona in those short to intermediate routes that we talk about all the time, helping out your quarterback, freeing up that open space. And it looks like it clicked. It looks like it clicked the way Osweiler looks like everything's clicking in his 4th year in the league without playing. He looks like he was ready to go from the first time he got the ball. And we saw that with I'm not making the comparison. Please don't say that I'm making the comparison. But Rodgers sat for so long and became what he is today. So Rivers sat behind Breeze. Like these people that sat behind good to great quarterbacks or even just sat period coming out of college, they're leaps and bounds better than being thrust into the fire and being like, here's the franchise, have fun. So I think that we're seeing a mature, different Gabbert, and I think it's going to continue. I think he could be a guy that could be a top 20 quarterback going forward next year, the year after, this year.
So I'm tempering expectations on him quite a bit just because of what we saw in Jacksonville, right? We saw that he was not good. We saw that they drafted another quarterback after seeing how bad he was, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, he's exceeded expectations by far. So you got to give the guy credit that he's definitely done better. And the fact that they just signed Kaepernick to this massive deal and then they sit him, you know,
he was that bad. That's how bad he was.
How bad he was.
And he is. I've been saying this for so long. If you guys watched the show last year, you know how much we yelled at Kaepernick. The 1 week that we were like, okay, maybe like we'll give him a chance was the worst week of fantasy football history, I think, as far as we're concerned. Because we all were like, all right, let's play Kaepernick everywhere. St. Louis defense drops like a 30 bomb.
Yeah.
Because he just pick six, fumble. Like, it was disgusting.
Gabbert, he's one of those guys.
It's one of those things where you just like, you see his name and you're just like, ha ha ha, yeah, right. But like,
you're right. Completing 60+% of his passes against those defenses. Now, granted, Seattle, again, isn't the defense that it was, especially in the passing game. But to still go into Seattle with those weapons that he has, which are not, top-tier weapons by any means. So to go into Seattle with those weapons and complete 60+% of his passes, not a bad feat at all, right? Getting you cash viable points, not a bad feat at all. So for me, I'm personally going to avoid him in cash games because I just still don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I'm not that comfortable with him yet.
But I could see a tournament with him, like a stack with him and Bolden or him and Vance. So, okay.
I played Vance last week. Did I tell you?
You did. Congratulations on that.
Didn't work out. Came right outside the money.
So let's move on then to Blaine Gabbert's running back, right? We're done with quarterbacks, so that's it for quarterbacks right now. Moving on to running backs for the week. Chandron.
Running back of the week.
He is 4,000 on DraftKings, 5,900 on FanDuel. He is getting 100% of the touches of the snaps for running backs in San Francisco. Now, I'm going to put a big, big, big asterisk right here and say, if Carlos Hyde does not play, I'm going to have quite a bit of exposure to Chandron. However, I think a lot of people will. I think he's going to be the most owned or one of the top.
Oh, no, there's one definitely going to be way more owned.
So he'll be the top 3 if he's not most owned.
Yeah, I don't think so because
with him.
I was expecting that for like Rawls and Ware last week, and I didn't really see it in the tournaments. I don't think he's going to be as owned as
Ware was interesting though because Sharkandrick wasn't deemed inactive until the day of, so I think a lot of people were kind of hesitant to go with Ware because of that.
But I don't think I feel like people played Drone this week and felt he was like a little bit of a disappointment. And I remember texting you and Pete over on Sunday after watching, and I was like, I know he didn't really produce as far as numbers are concerned, and the results weren't there, but I saw a running back that has a lot of wiggle, can run, has ability. Plus, he catches so many passes because they're always losing.
Dump offs, yeah, it's great.
It's awesome. That's also part of the reason why Gabbert's getting so many points. I mean, he's a lot better than Kaepernick. He's keeping them in closer games, which forces them to be in situations where they can throw the ball at the end of the game instead of just Kaepernick just running around trying to figure out what he's doing like a chicken with his head cut off.
All right. So yeah, definitely cash game viable for me this week. Sean Drawn. Moving on to the next guy, another Alex special here, Duke Johnson. We seem to talk about him every week as well. A salary that refuses to go up. 3,800 on DraftKings, 6,000 on FanDuel. Same reasoning here, right? Just continues to catch passes. Now, question
5 catches again
is with McCown out. How does that make you feel about Duke? I mean, I don't know how we can feel confident in anything, not knowing who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, if Manziel's quarterback, don't even think about it. But there's a chance that you could play him with Austin. It's one of those where he's just going to keep catching passes, I think, no matter if Austin Davis is the quarterback, because he's similar to McCown, and Manziel just does not know what to do throwing the ball on checkdowns. He just scrambles around like an idiot. Less so than Kaepernick, but still like the same type of, I'm in trouble, okay, time to run.
Right.
Not, hey, Duke, here you go. Why don't you run it faster than me?
So let's see here. So I'm personally off of him. He's GPP only for you, assuming Austin Davis starts.
Yeah, because I'd rather play the guy we just talked about and the guy we're about to talk about.
So the guy we're about to talk about, I honestly, and I'm not saying this just because I want to move things forward, I don't think we have to say much about him, and that's because he's filling in for 2 injured running backs, and that's David Johnson. He's sitting at 3,400 on DraftKings, 5,900 on FanDuel. Bruce Arians just came out and said that he's going to get the lion's share, right? He's the lead man in Arizona now. And
when Arians says things, we listen.
Chris Johnson out, broken tibia.
Yep.
Andre Ellington has turf toe. That leaves David Johnson, and I don't even know who behind him. So they're probably also going to bring someone up.
Come on.
Oh, Stephon Taylor. That's right. So
Arians loves using not talented running backs all the time. So there is a genuine concern that he steals something stupid from David. But
there's concern that he steals something stupid. But for 3,400 against a St. Louis D 35. That has actually been
35.
porous.
35.
34.
Is he 34?
34. Yeah, 34.
Really? Did I write that wrong, or am I just thinking of it wrong?
Nope, you wrote it wrong.
All right.
I'm on DraftKings, so I have it right in front of me. So he's
yep.
$100 difference.
That's fine.
But lion's share at that price, that's really the opportunity that we're looking for. That bring us back a couple weeks ago, right? When Sharkandrick went off against Denver, when Langford went off against St. Louis, it was the same type of situation where you're looking at it as a very cheap back who's going to get the majority of carries and also get involved in the passing game. On
a good team that's going to be playing with the lead.
That's hopefully going to be playing with the lead and get even more carries from there.
Come on.
And at that price,
Keenum is playing quarterback again.
The question is, the question then becomes what do you estimate his ownership to be? 60-ish?
In cash or tournament?
Tournaments.
50 at least. I don't know you know what? Probably 60. And the only reason that the other 40 aren't going to be using him is 5% are idiots, and 35% are going to be looking to make their contrarian type lineup.
Differentiate
Okay.
contrarian, yeah. So at
Yeah.
60%, are you going to be overweight or underweight on him then in your lineups?
Overweight. 'Cause I'm not-
Overweight.
Definitely.
Wow, okay.
I mean, I believe in this kid's talent, and he scored touchdowns.
You like the cut of his jib.
Sure.
Sorry,
No,
just blatantly stealing from Matthew Berry. It's okay.
No, I like because I'm not calling him the same back, but it reminds me of the Charkandrick situation where it's just like good matchup, gonna run the ball, is already being said like this is our guy, we trust him. I don't see where you can go. Like this guy is like has made some dynamic plays already. So like I believe in it.
Yeah, let's rewind 3 minutes.
Against the defense that allowed Jeremy Hill to get 87 yards, I'm down with David Johnson.
All right, I think we beat this home. We beat it home. They get it. We like David Johnson, biggest chalk player.
I mean, but we're like because it's the obvious play. But we all like you were right. Like, am I overweight or underweight? Like, I think that's a very serious question. That's like
it was, and you answered it. It was a good
question. I don't think we beat it to death, but like I kind of explained like why I'm overweight because the situation is just
of everything we said. Yeah, I hear you. So I think that's good though. I think we've gotten the point across on David Johnson. Got your point on being overweight. It'll be interesting to ask Pete his opinion on overweight or underweight on that on Thursday. So I'll have to make a note. Moving on to wide receivers though, the first one up is a man who apparently does it all now. I don't know when he became a running back / quarterback.
When he's healthy.
It's Cecil Shorts the third, 3,600 on DraftKings, 5,800 on FanDuel. Looks like he's getting snaps in the Wildcat, so he's going to get you a couple of rushes a game. They're giving him, I guess he runs most of his routes out of the slot, which is Buffalo's worst defensive back. So he's got a nice matchup this week at that price. Cash game viable for you this week then at that price, Alex?
Sorry, I was distracted by Maryland sucking again. Yeah, I mean, the thing with him is like he has been, I want to say, the unquestioned 2 when healthy. And the thing that was like it was between Cecil and Nate Washington. One was hurt, the other one wasn't, and they were just the default number 2 every time they were on the field. Now that they're both healthy, you see Nate's kind of cutting in a little bit to Cecil's being number 2. And I think Cecil's a big part of this offense that kind of goes under the radar. At 36, like he scores touchdowns. It's annoying. Like I needed Hopkins to do better this week. Like why didn't that happen? Why wasn't that a thing?
God, he did.
But no, like let me just throw a quick little stupid shovel reverse to Cecil Shorts for a touchdown. That'll make everybody happy.
Hey man, yeah, that.
I don't know. I don't know if I would call him cash viable. I mean, he did have 3 for 18 last week, but he ran the ball for 20 yards.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And at 3,600, he only needs to get you 10 points. I mean, not a bad.
Like, all right, he caught fit against the Jets. 2 catches for 51, 4 rushes for 26, and a touchdown. Throwing the ball. Are you kidding? Like
that's what I'm saying. He does it all. He's Cordell Stewart.
But he doesn't do it all. But like he's doing it right now.
He's Cecil / Shorts. It's impressive.
Yeah, but like the only concern.
It's more frustrating than impressive. Let's be honest.
He could be out in 1 snap, so it's definitely not cash viable.
Okay.
He's like he's just like, yeah, bye. Okay.
Agree with you there.
He like came up limp like a little bit. It looked like he might have been limping out for 6 weeks. Like Cecil Shorts. Like I wish it wasn't. I loved him in Jacksonville, but that's who he is.
I agree with you. I thought he was going to be a PPR monster this year. He has not been. But let's move on to our next wide receiver. My note on him was stop it, and that's Seth Roberts. 3,600 on DraftKings, 5,400 on FanDuel. he's Cole Beasley 2.0. I mean, anything
No,
else you want
stop
to say?
that. That's
He is.
so different.
No.
So different.
It's exactly the same.
Not at all.
He has this one blow-up game where he catches 2 touchdowns, goes for 100 yards, and if you play him this week, you're chasing points.
Yeah, if you play him this week, you're chasing points, but we should still talk about him because
I don't think so.
2 and 3, he had the touchdowns. Week 4, he got one called back. I think he's had another one called back in the middle of the weeks. Derek Carr throws him the ball in the end zone. This is this week, yeah, it's probably chasing points. But this is a guy that you can play moving forward because Derek Carr, just for some reason, when he's in the red zone, he throws this guy the ball in the end zone. It doesn't make any sense. You would think Amari Cooper, best young receiver in all of football as far as rookies are concerned. Michael Crabtree, probably one of the best, has one of the best route trees and runs the crispest routes of any wide receiver in football, and now has his explosion back off the Achilles injury from a few years ago. Yet the guy he throws to the most inside the 20 is Seth Roberts. Don't understand it. I don't get it.
I can't answer that at all. What I can give you is his home games in total, he has 6 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Last week alone, he had 6 catches for 113 and 2 touchdowns.
Kansas City cover secondary receivers.
This guy is chasing points, in my opinion. I will not have him anywhere.
Fine. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to have a lot of – I might throw him in a lineup.
All right. Let's move on from him. We spent enough time on him. Let's move on to someone else who perplexes me ever since he got into the league, really, because he shows flashes of potential and then just disappears for half a season, right? And that's Brian Hartline. $3,400 on DraftKings, $5,100 on FanDuel. My note here was to you, Alex. Do you have any faith in Hartline even though McCown's not the starter there?
Okay, again, same with Duke. If Austin Davis, who is similar to McCown, who is also a quarterback first and a running back second, then I'm okay with it because without Gabriel and without Hawkins, they tried to put Dwayne Bowe on the field. They actually attempted to do it. That's how desperate they are at wide receiver. I think they signed Terrell Pryor today again, and he's gonna act as the team's third string quarterback while also playing wide receiver. This is how desperate this team is. He has to be on the field. He is the number 2 next to Travis Benjamin without Hawkins and Gabriel. There's no debating it. There's no getting around. He's going to be on the field almost every down. He's going to get probably 80% of the snaps. And when he's on the field, we saw it in Miami. We haven't really seen it a lot this year because he hasn't been on the field as much. But when he's been on the field, he's been good. He's always been this PPR monster that used to have this ceiling that was here. The floor that was here and the ceiling was here. It was like, just give me 15 points. You don't have to score touchdowns. Just catch 8 balls for 70 yards and then go home. That's what he is. And at 3-4, 15 points, I'm fine with. That's great. You're not going to get that kind of floor with, I kind of think he was like Edelman before Edelman, just not on the Patriots offense. Does that make sense? He was like that the white boy PPR monster.
I was just going to say, it's kind of racist.
Okay, sure. Dude, that's like saying any white boy on the floor is just a spot-up shooter.
Yeah, I mean J.J. Redick, right?
They're all spot-up shooters.
They're all.
Layman has no athleticism because he's white.
That's just the way it is. You just have to accept fact for being fact. I get it. All right.
Diamond Stone.
Let's move on to the next guy. I'm actually really interested to see why you recommend him this week, and that's, I believe he's wide receiver 3 on the Jets. Devin Smith at $3,400 on DraftKings, $4,900 on FanDuel. 9 catches for 115 all year. He had 2 for 33 and a touchdown this past week. So what is it that you see in him that intrigues you that he can actually hit? I mean, the only time he's hit double digits was this past week, and that was because of the touchdown. So what is it that intrigues you about him this week?
First of all, tournament only, obviously. I don't think I really need to dive into that.
Right.
I've watched every Jet game as a Jet fan. They've been wanting to get this kid involved. as much as possible. Fitzpatrick throws this kid deep ball after deep ball after deep ball, at least 1 or 2 a game, it seems, whenever he's playing. This week they decided, they were like, you know what? We're going to get you involved a little bit more slowly. Like, let's throw you shorter things. His first catch was just like a little 9-yard catch, I think. And then he got the touchdown where he out-jumped somebody. Like, his prowess, and this from watching the Big Ten, like you're Michigan, I'm Maryland. This guy on deep balls and jump, anything deep and anything going up against just one corner, this guy's coming down with the ball. And I think that this touchdown is going to inspire a lot of confidence I'm assuming the Giants are going to put a lot of attention on Marshall and Decker. That's going to free up space because we don't have a tight end. Enunwa is basically the tight end. Devin Smith becomes the 3, the burner. He's the guy that's going to get deep the fastest. If Fitzpatrick has a chance to take it, he's going to throw one deep to him.
Okay.
And I think they're trying to get him the ball more instead of just taking that shot or two. They're going to target him more, get him more involved to also free up space for Marshall and Decker. This isn't just for him. It frees up the rest of the offense and also allows him to grow slowly by giving him opportunities to make plays. He's a playmaker. You want playmakers in tournament lineups.
Okay. No, I agree with you there. Very interesting. My thought, because I haven't watched every Jet game, right? I have a lot like you anyway. So I wasn't aware of the opportunity that he's been given. I don't have the target numbers up in front of me, but it's interesting to see that they're trying to get him the deep ball.
I think it's just more that they've pretty much at this point of the season they're giving up on Curley being in that role and they're letting Devin Smith try it. I think they're over the Curley experiment. He's just returning punts now, really.
Beautiful. All right, so
back.
I'm gonna put a TV timeout on the wide receivers. We have to go back because Ben and someone else, Eden, maybe it was Eden, in the chat, they're trying to get our attention, and Ben said that Jacob deGrom is overrated. Yoenis Cespedes is not resigning. So that made me laugh hysterically.
Ben, I'm gonna kill you.
It was very funny. Yeah. But so they brought up the fact that we completely overlooked somebody that has to be talked about, especially in this matchup, going all the way back to Brock Osweiler. One of the reasons that I was kind of worried throwing him out there, and why I think underweight on him, is the running game. And we completely overlooked C.J. Anderson, who's sitting at 3,500 on DraftKings.
Oh, that's why I didn't look at him, because I didn't think he was going to be that low.
There we go. So
crossed over his name and was like,
so he goes for 113 and 2 touchdowns on 15 attempts. Now, granted, one was a 48-yarder in overtime, but also caught the ball 4 for 40, $3,500. His salary did not go up. I mean, kind of chalkish here as well, or
no, it didn't go up because the prices came out during the game.
This was a Sunday night game, not the Monday night game.
Yeah, but the prices come out at 9 p.m. on Sunday night.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I thought they came out Monday.
I always look at the prices during the Sunday night games.
Okay, so his price does not go up. Good for us. Estimated ownership then? I mean, it's got to be pretty high.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I don't know why I whiffed on that completely. Thank you. But yeah, I would say as high, maybe I don't know if it would be as high because he's burned a lot of people this year. But I think the only pause I have is that Hillman's still getting the ball too. But as CJ showed last year, second half of the season, it's his time. And he's starting to come into he's been starting to come into it a little bit the last couple weeks, and he's getting more touches. I think you're right. I think this week he becomes the workhorse again.
So just to put a little bit into perspective, I pull up Ronnie Hillman too, and Hillman actually had 21 carries to CJ's 12 at Chicago, 14 carries to CJ's 15 at home against New England. Hillman's all the way up at –
that's the pause.
He's all the way up at 45. So, I mean, is CJ – I guess I'm going to ask a dumb question, right? Is CJ, in your eyes, cash viable or only tournament option because of that. Because I'm hesitant to go really overweight on CJ because at that point it's kind of like the Packers backfield where they're going to ride the hot hand, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it in cash. I really don't. I would like to.
I mean, at that price, you
listen,
almost feel like you
put it
have
this way.
to, right?
If you can guarantee me CJ Anderson gets 15 carries, yeah, I'm playing him in cash. But I can't guarantee that at all.
What about 12 carries
He's not going to catch the ball.
and 2 catches?
He's not going to catch. He doesn't catch the ball.
What are you talking about? I just said he did.
How many times?
Twice.
He doesn't catch the ball a lot. Twice.
4 times. Oh no, sorry.
Or...
Four times against New England and then twice against Chicago. And Hillman had none, I think.
Then
or
yeah,
one in
cash. But if I know he's getting 3 to 5 targets, yeah, he's in cash.
Yeah,
because he can do 10 carries to make it 11.5 points or 10.5.
1 catch, 2 catches. That's the past 3 games for Hillman. So yeah, I'd say Anderson's cash viable for me.
Yeah.
I'm worried about going overweight on him just because, like we've been saying, like it's split. He had this big game against New England, and yeah, it's a good matchup, but I don't know. I'm not comfortable estimating who's really going to be the high hand and who's going to get more work, at least at this point in the week, right? If Kubiak comes out and says something more, then obviously things can change by Sunday. But at this point right now, we don't know anything, more than what we've seen the past couple of weeks, which is almost a 50-50 split in terms of touches.
Yeah, that's my only concern, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a different back than he did earlier in the season. I think it's just this running game works with Brock Osweiler. It doesn't work with Peyton anymore because there's no threat of him booting out.
Exactly. That's what the offense was made to do. All right, cool. So thanks, guys, again for pointing out CJ Anderson. We appreciate that. Always a good look there. I blame Alex for not looking at the chat, by the way. We should have seen that earlier.
I don't ever. I'm watching this.
I'm watching. Oh, good.
So
your team isn't a piece of shit in basketball, then we'll talk.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. I had my run. I had my run. I think I'm doomed to another 5 or 7 years of mediocrity now, but that's okay.
With your white boy spot up shooter that transferred over.
What's that?
Your white boy spot up shooter that transferred over.
Pumped. All right, on to our next receiver.
Also, we've never had this conversation, but fuck you for Smoltrich. Fuck that guy. He
Why?
was the worst. He transferred from Michigan to Maryland, and he was just the worst thing to ever happen to him.
Oh, I mean, I didn't even know his name, so it goes to show you how much run he got.
He was a ginger. And he pretended like he could shoot threes.
Stop it.
But instead, Turgeon decided that he could be a genuine 4 and play defense, and he was the worst thing to ever happen to our school ever. He basically lost us the tournament, like lost the West Virginia game for us last year.
Would he be soulless?
No. Well, I mean, soulless, but not the soulless ginger.
Well, no, he's not the, but he's a.
He has no soul. He's a genuine demon.
Less a soul. All right.
Fuck that guy.
Let's move on to the next wide receiver. Only give me a couple words because we talk about him every week, and I still say
skipping over my boo.
He's 3,300 on DraftKings.
Are you skipping over the person that I want to talk about?
Oh, did I? I thought we touched on him. No.
Oh, we stopped at Devin.
Oh, my bad. Okay, let's take a jump back and let's go to someone who's pretty much the same price. 3,300 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel, and that's Devontae Parker, who finally showed up.
Finally.
At the end of the game. Now, this is Rashard Matthews was out at this point, right? Knocked out of the game.
Calvin Pryor lit him up.
And Tannehill continued to throw all game long, threw for 50 some odd times in that game. Now,
well, mostly in the second half, but
I know that you've been touting Parker for several weeks, right? So we don't have to go into your love for him. But is he a target for you even if Matthews somehow comes back, or are you?
No. They won't put him on the field because they're idiots.
So assuming Matthews does not play,
yeah, Matthews
3,300.
Matthews broke a couple ribs.
Okay, so I didn't read that. I just read that he had some sort of
I'm
rib
pretty
injury.
sure he broke a couple ribs. I
So,
could be wrong, but
so
it looked like he broke a couple ribs.
assuming he's out and Parker let's just assume Matthews is out. Can you expect Parker to hit cash value at only 3,300 on DraftKings?
Yeah, he did that without the touchdown last week. He had 10 targets, and most of the targets that didn't hit, of the 6 targets that he didn't catch, were bad throws. Again, I watched the whole game, even though it was a blowout. I watched the whole thing because once I saw Devontae Parker start getting looks, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch the rest of this.
But he was he open at least? Like, was he getting separation?
Yeah, no, he looked good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, with no Revis, everybody was moved around. Like, Cromartie's not a good cover corner. I think we've talked about this. He was on him a bunch.
We have.
Darren Walls played it because Marcus Williams got hurt too, so we were playing with Darren Walls was the second corner. My boy Dexter McDougal played. I mean, he didn't play that much. He wasn't on Parker, but he looked pretty good. But yeah, like we had no corners and they were just throwing the ball. But Parker was open. He looked good. The touchdown, he got in front of Cromartie, got around him, did a little quick stop and go on Gilchrist, and then got himself in the end zone. It was nice. He had a nice little toe tap catch on the sideline, and overall, just like he looked open, and he was able to get the ball and just get to space, run after the catch. He's got great hands, great leaping ability. I don't know how, like, he's not like the quickest off the line. I don't know about his separation per se, like off the line, but his natural running ability and athleticism separates him over the long haul of the route.
Okay, so he's your boo. You've been loving him since Jump Street, but now that
he something because he's a Dolphin.
That's true. It does say something, and he's again 3,300 this week against a pretty bad Ravens secondary coming into Miami, if I read things correctly there. So, yeah, decent play there this week. I like him a lot.
I mean, who's there? Like, well, he's not going to see. I guess who is he going to see? Ladarius, or is he going to see Jim Smith? It doesn't matter. They both suck. It's great.
They do. They both look pretty bad this year. But okay, so there's Devontae Parker. Let's be short on this guy, Dorial Green Beckham. 3,300 on DraftKings, 5,100 on FanDuel. Mention him every week. GPP play. You're basically hoping to hop on the 1 week that he blows up, right?
Still, yeah, but I think it's more that this week Malarkey called him out, said him and Kendall Wright, who was just back this week, but he specifically mentioned DGB Moore needs to use his ability and help his quarterback out more and create big plays for this offense, specifically towards Dorial, because he's a freak. He is so raw, but like you could just throw him the ball. Like his wingspan is retarded. Like it doesn't make sense. Like he's that big. He needs to help Marcus because all Marcus can do is put the ball in a big window, and his big window is very big, so he should be able to get all of those balls to help Mariota become an accurate quarterback.
Yeah, I don't really want to dive in anymore because like I said, we talk about him every week. We went into him pretty deep, I think, a couple weeks ago, but GPP only. You're hoping to hop on that game. Next guy is someone I'll actually be off of because of the matchup, and that's Dontrell Inman, 3,200 on DraftKings, 5,500 on FanDuel. Had a nice game at Jacksonville, 5 for 65 and a touchdown. Only went up $200 on DraftKings, so from 3,000 to 3,200. Gets Denver coming into town, so I'm fading completely. What about you?
I might throw him in a tournament or two just because I think Denver can get up early. I think they're going to throw the ball early and score points, and then they're going to run the ball the rest of the day. So I still think that Brock can have a big day while CJ has a big day as well. But if they're playing catch up, Stevie's going to be guarded by Akib or Chris Johnson. Inman's going to have to find something. I guarantee you that either because of how badly the linebackers in Denver got burnt by the Patriots, especially on those wheel routes by running backs and and tight ends, that either Chris Harris or Aqib Talib is guarding Antonio Gates, and that Inman gets somebody else. That's like my bold prediction of the week, is that something like that happens.
I think they moved Talib because I think they had Talib covering Gronk. So you think the same thing happens there?
Yeah.
He moves to. Interesting. I'll still stay off him because I think
No,
that
I mean, I'm
secondary
not
is just.
all over him, but like
Yeah.
at that
All right.
place in this offense where they throw as much as they do and can't run the ball, he's guaranteed at least 7 to 8 targets.
All right, let's go to tight ends then. We are done with receivers. We're going to move on to the tight end position. First one is, I think on the season, this is kind of expensive for a tight end, but over the last couple of weeks, these salaries for tight ends have risen more and more. And that's Julius Thomas coming in at 4,000 on DraftKings, 5,800 on FanDuel. Finally getting targets from Blake Bortles, finally showing some sort of a cohesiveness with him. Went for 9 for 116 and a touchdown this past week, 5 for 28 and a touchdown the week before. So at 4,000 against a Tennessee team, the team that he went 5 for 28 and a touchdown against, cash game viable for you at 4K?
Yeah, especially if Hearns doesn't play. He's the second option passing the ball in this offense
Big
now.
asterisk there, yes. If Hearns is out, assuming he's out,
I think it's like 90% that he's out.
I think he's plug and play then at that point. And
you have to.
I think I'll just jump to the next person real quick because I think the same thing about Jacob Tamme. If Leonard Hankerson is out, Jacob Tamme basically becomes plug and play at 3,700 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel. And it's not he's got a lower ceiling, right? Let me preface that. I think he's got a lower ceiling than Julius, but you see with Hankerson not on the field, that's when Tammy's had his big games. 8 for 94, 10 for 103, 6 for 61, 5 for 69. He's had pretty decent games and becomes basically cash viable for me if Hankerson's out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he becomes the second option because Roddy White doesn't exist anymore.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Not for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the most important thing, you kind of glazed over it. The last time they played Tampa, 10 for 104 and a touchdown.
And I think I don't know if Hankerson didn't play that game or he got hurt that game or something. I got to look that up real quick.
I don't know, but I like vaguely remember like Tamme just all of a sudden having 10 catches for 104 yards and it
just going off.
Like 2 for 7 or something stupid like that. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, what did Tamme do? It was one of those.
Yeah, Hankerson didn't play that game. Or if he did, he didn't. No, he didn't play that game. So, yeah, I think one of the reasons that Tamme went off, Hankerson wasn't there. He seems to occupy the middle and helps out quite a bit. So, a couple of nice options there, assuming that their wide receiver twos are not on the field. Let's move on to the Denver tight ends. Vernon Davis at 3,000 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel, or Owen Daniels at 2,900 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel. If you have to pick one, which one is it?
I want to say it's Vernon. I really want to say it's Vernon.
But you wanted to say that last week, too.
I did say that last week, and I played him everywhere, and it didn't really turn out too well for me.
No, 2 for 10 isn't bueno.
No, but, I mean, I still think it had to do with the snow.
Could be. I mean, Osweiler still chucked the ball around, but could be. I mean, we're expecting better weather. I think, both of them tournament only, to be honest with you.
No cash.
And I think Vernon kind of sits in the same bucket as DGB in that I'm playing him in a tournament hoping I catch him on the week that he's low owned and blows up. Mm-hmm. And you catch him on, like, instead of chasing points, you're going to be like proactively getting him and those points. So GPP only, not very confident in it. But the potential is definitely there. We know that the offense favors the tight end. We know Vernon Davis still has skills. He can still catch the ball. Everything, just has to come together. So, all right, let's move on to the next tight end, and that's Bob Vance from Vance Refrigeration.
Mr. Vance Refrigeration.
Vance McDonald sitting at 3K on DraftKings, 4,900 on FanDuel, 6 for 71 and a touchdown last week, 4 for 65 and a touchdown at Seattle. He seems to be, I mean, Blaine Gabbert has thrown all of his touchdowns, I think, to tight ends. So going up against what DraftKings ranks as the 7th best defense against the tight end position, you think Gabbert can throw another one to him this week, especially considering I think Selleck is out now, right?
Yeah, I don't care how good they are against the tight end. Arizona was like 3rd last week. Like Gabbert's throwing the ball to the tight end. That's it. Like that is what I've seen most of all from Gabbert when I watched him. He's throwing the ball to his tight. It's to the point where Blake Bell could even be in GPP consideration. I'm not going to do it, but he could be. He had that big catch. I think he finished for like 3 for 44 or 3 for 64 or something ridiculous like that. The tight ends are a huge part of him being successful, and they run out a lot of 2 tight end sets because they've historically been and are still trying to be a running team, and they're going to have both of those tight ends on the field. So one can stay in and block, one can go out and pass, both can stay in and block, or if need be, they both go out and try to catch a pass. So a lot of Gabbert's success comes from the tight end, and if Garrett Selleck doesn't play, Vance is his number 1 guy.
All right, let's move on to our last and final tight end, and that is the Gronk successor, Scott Chandler, coming in at bare minimum 2,500 on DraftKings. I don't have FanDuel in front of me, so I can't cop his salary right now, but did pretty well overall last game, 5 for 58 and a touchdown. I know Gronk went out at the end of the game, so I can't really give you stats that he had when Gronk was out, but you're looking at
He's so slow.
Wide receiver core that is incredibly injured, right?
Amendola should be back, though, I think.
Amendola should be back. LaFell opens things up on the outside. Brady still dumps stuff off underneath, but he's shown that he's able to throw to Scott Chandler. He's comfortable throwing to him, especially in the red zone, right? He has 3 touchdowns on the year, and that's with Gronk playing all year. So with Gronk out of there, are we looking at 2,500? All we need is what? 3 catches for 45 yards.
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking at much for cash value.
No, we need 1 catch for 1 yard and 5 yards and a touchdown.
We need a Crockett Gilmore line from a couple weeks ago.
Getting a touchdown. We're getting a touchdown from Scott Chandler. Like,
so I mean, it's not bad. So I like him for cash.
20.
I like him for cash. I don't like him for tournaments because I don't think the upside is there. I don't think he really has a Gronk, 3 touchdown type of upside.
Yeah, but if he's 2,500 and he gets you 15 to 20 points, we like to call it 20. That's tournament upside.
That's tournament upside. I don't know if I see him.
That's still week winning upside. That's 8x. If he gets 20 points on 25.
5 for 58 and a touchdown last week did net him 16. So yeah, I mean that's more than
6x right there. It's more than 6x.
Take back what I said.
20 and 8x. I'm fine with that.
Tournament viable there as well, especially now that he's not fighting with
I might do the double Julius Scott Chandler stack.
That's a nice stack.
Right?
Cheap, giving you big money all over the place. I like it.
There's so many good cheap options. I tried to make my lineup before, and there's so many people that I want to play that are cheap.
There are a shit ton, yeah.
I feel like I can make like a very good lineup without using $10,000 in DraftKings this week.
All right, let's see here. That is about it. So with that, we're going to say thank you guys very much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Click the thumbs up, please. If you like the video, please share it out. Comment. You can reach us out on Twitter. Ask us questions in the comments or on Twitter, wherever you guys want. Reach out however you can. We appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for joining, for watching, subscribing, following, everything, for interacting. We appreciate everything. And thank you and congratulations again to Anthony, who joined us at the beginning of the show. Very, very nice job with your lineup this week. It was interesting because he actually messaged me on Twitter last week and mentioned something about coming on the show. So I said, hey man, do the listener league, you win it and you come on, and boom, he wins it. So pretty pretty impressive, pretty cool if you ask me. Nice job again to Anthony. Congratulations. And to the next person who wins it, congratulations in advance. Please, everybody, the
Save that for Thursday, man. Come on.
link is in the description for YouTube. So click show more if you have to. Join the league. Let's fill it up again. Let's have a good time. And that'll do it for us for week 13 value picks. That's our show. Thank you guys very much again for everything. For Alex at Alex Hanowitz, I am Mark at MN Milano, Pete at Pete Karaganis. Hopefully his play practice is going along very smoothly.
It sounds so funny when you say it.
Pete, we will see you Thursday.
Play
And
practice.
we've had some requests for you to explain the play. So hopefully we can get a little rundown of the play as well from Pete. So again, thank you guys very much. We will catch you guys Thursday. See ya.